Hi, welcome to our Thoughtful Thursday live meditation. So we talked about intuitive mythology um, as a practice, and it is, I think, something I've done a meditation on before. But tonight, what I want to do is just set it up as a practice. And what I'd like to do is, again, have this as a way to facilitate people who are using intuitive mythology as their phase 3 daily practice. I really want to set it up in a way that people can progress forward. So there's a little bit I think I'm going to add from the last time. If I think I ended with the possibility of transition, but today I'm going to go into some of the transition points and tap into the deeper levels of phase 3 intuitive mythology. What I'm going to do now is I want to go straight into the meditation. And what we're going to do is we're going to follow what we were just talking about in the class, which is I'm going to clearly state that we're now doing phase 1, which is, of course, what I mentioned in the class. What I called it is the observation of self and relaxing the mind. And then we're going to go into phase 2, which is the observation of our space and centering the mind. And then we're going to go into phase 3, which is expanding the mind and observation of expansion. So that's what we're going to do now. So I'm going to just go ahead and go right into that. I'm really thrilled you're here and that you've joined me, and I hope that you enjoy this practice, especially if you're looking for an ongoing phase 3 practice. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut to the meditation scene. And I'm just going to begin by breathing into the space. So to begin meditation practices, the first thing we need to do is make sure the mind is relaxed. So we need to make sure we're not stressed or triggered, because the brain is not capable of meditating from these spaces. So to do that, the way we're going to begin is we're going to tie it into what we'll be doing with intuitive mythology, which I just talked about in the meditation course, which is relaxing of mind through the observing of self. So the first thing we're going to do to observe the self is just to relax into the moment and become aware. Become aware of how you feel inside. Do you feel tight anywhere? Do you feel anxious? Are you worried about someplace you need to be, or some conflict you've had? Just being aware, not judging it. This observation of self is in itself a meditation practice that's taught, where you can observe your thoughts and not attach to them. Just be aware of them. You can observe your body and how comfortable it feels. You can observe sounds around you. Is it silent where you are? How does it feel to listen to the sound of my voice? Connect with the space around you. What is the temperature and the texture of the air where you are? How do your clothes feel against your body? How does your internal body feel? Is it relaxed? So this is a great way to begin any meditation. If you're sitting down to do your mythology, to just check in with your body for a minute. It only takes 1 or 2 minutes, but just become aware. Go through all 5 senses. What do I see? What do I hear? What do I taste or smell? How does it feel to sit in the position I'm sitting? How does the air feel around me? How does my body feel? So again, you're just gonna sit down to start your practice and say, okay, I'm just gonna check in with my body. And this is a good habit every single time you do mythology. Every time you do a phase 3 practice, just check in with yourself. Just check in with how you feel in that moment. Get to know your feeling body. And now we're going to go into the centering practice by allowing ourselves to become aware of a desire, of a place we want to be. And I don't want to bind this just to a place right now. And this is what makes it a bit of a centering practice, is connect more than just to, oh, I want to be on a beach, or I want to be on a mountain trail, or I want to be in another country. Connect to, what do I want in my life? Again, we're using what we know by answering this question, right? We're not in phase 3 yet. This is phase 2 still. But do I want more financial security? Do I want different relationships? Do I want better health? Do I want to be free of pain, of psychological or physical conditions? Just allow yourself for a moment to be an observer of your life. So this is where I talked about phase 2, is observing your space. So the existence where you live. And you may have multiple, which just gives you multiple meditation options, but let's begin by choosing just one tonight. What place do you want to be, or experience do you want to have? If you're thinking of releasing a condition or a pain or something, come up with, well, where do I want to be instead? What do I want the experience of life to be instead? And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that choice we've made, whatever we've chosen is the thing we want, and we're going to say, okay, I'm going to imagine that I have it. But in this imagination, in this kind of mythology, we're not going to fantasize or dream. We're going to allow a meditative practice. So you've picked your thing, whatever that is. And now what you're going to do is imagine, just don't go into the details of the imagination. I just want you to open your mind to it. Imagine that you now have that thing. You have that relationship or that financial situation or that healthy being. And I want you to imagine that you're waking up in the morning in that existence. So having that experience that you want, you're waking up in the morning in that state. What is the first thing you do? When you wake up? How does your morning begin? How does it feel when you're in bed waking up? What's the first thing you do when you get out of bed? When do you eat? Do you eat when you first wake up, or do you wait a little while before you eat? What do you eat? Has this new existence changed any of your eating habits? Do you eat differently? Don't expect yourself to be anything. Don't have expectation on what it should be. Just observe from this state how your morning begins. What do you do next? Do you stay in your home or do you go somewhere? Do you leave the house? Do you have a practice or a thing you like to do in the morning? A place you like to go? Or do you just say, you know what, today I feel? Are you connected to your feeling body and do you just follow that? And if you do, what do you feel like doing today as this person in this new existence? What people do you interact with throughout the day? How social are you? And don't just think overall, but on just this day, on this one day in this experience, how social are you? Do you want to go and visit people, or is today a day you want to just do your own thing? So imagine, just let come to a mind. Again, this is an observation of how life would be. So don't try to contrive it. Don't try and figure it out. Just ask the question, what would I do if I lived that existence? And imagine going throughout your day, and you may do a lot of things. But I want you to imagine now it's nearing the end of the day. It's later in the day. You've done what you've done. You can go back if you want. If you want to pause the video here, you can, or you can go back later and fill in your day. But imagine it's later in the day. Maybe you're eating your last meal of the day. And then what do you do after that? Do you spend time with someone? Or is this the time you spend by yourself in your own space? What are there any practices you do? Do you like to watch the sunset or to go for a walk or to have a conversation or to maybe write, to do contemplation? And then how do you feel as you prepare to go to bed? What feeling is strongest in you at the end of the day? Do you feel satisfied or joyful or quiet and peaceful? Do you feel calm and centered? What is your word? What is your particular feeling? At the end of your day? And then as you connect with that feeling and as the day draws to a close, how does it feel climbing into bed? Just connect with that feeling, that end of the day feeling. And then as you're in that end of the day feeling, how does it feel to start to fall asleep that night? You're coming into the night now. How does that finally drifting off to sleep? Feeling this day and then knowing again tomorrow you get to wake up and live this life again. How does that feel to you internally? Now, what I want you to do is connect with the most valuable part of this experience, of this day. Was it the morning? Was it the things you did throughout the day, or was it your evening? What part of the day felt most valuable to you? And what I'm going to recommend, so we're coming to a close of our meditation time. And if you want to go back and fill in your day or imagine waking up the next day and going through that, you can go through as many days as you like. The more the better, actually. It's really good to sit in mythology like this of imagining our best life and what it would look like to live it. But I want you to ask yourself, of all the things I did in that favorite part of the day, the most important part, can I implement any of those? Is there something I did when I woke up in the morning or right before I went to sleep at night that I could add to my routine to give myself a little piece of this life? There's a lot of value. I could give a lot of detail about the possibilities that can be realized through this practice, but I'll save those for another time. For now, just complete your contemplation and then just ask the question, what part of the days was most important for you? What aspect of it was most valuable? And is there a way for me to implement that into my life? So what I want to do is I want to close the meditation with that opportunity for you to delve deeper into those questions, to connect with that life that's so organic to you, not a thing you're reaching for. This is an integral part of who you are, of the life you were born to live. So I'm going to let you sit in that and work on that, and then I will connect with you again next Thursday for another meditation. And as you move through the week, I do wish you tremendous success. on your journey.